I want to tell you why nothing in the world beats stillness. Because we have a tendency to be a little hyperactive when we encounter problems. When situations are in that unknown stage, we tend to want to become really busy trying to put our best foot forward to make things happen. But often that's very counterintuitive. In fact, I'm in this stage of my life where I'm kind of learning that everything that I learned was correct sometimes work better in reverse. What I thought was up is actually down. What I thought was down is actually up. You know, when I go out and chase monetary gain, it normally leads to its opposite. Usually I end up expending energy and losing the thing that I wanted to acquire in the first place. It all reminds me of being a person in a situation where, let's say, this room was losing oxygen. This room was filling up with CO2 or something like that. And initially, our brains may go into struggle and panic mode where we want to get out of the situation as soon as possible. But the best thing to do might actually be to sit still and come up with a different plan. To sit still and conserve our energy. To sit still and make sure that our breathing doesn't increase. Because the more we use up the available oxygen, the faster we're going to meet our demise. In life, the more you use up your energy and you consume it on things that don't provide an initial payback, the faster you're going to run out of energy and you're going to get into that mode where you hit burnout. You're going to be in a situation where resentment begins to grow, where you should be experiencing enjoyment or fulfillment. I'm at the stage of my life where, if I could relate this to the animal kingdom, I'm at a stage in my life where in the past I have behaved like a shark in a cesspool. You see, a shark is going to be a shark no matter what environment it's in. The shark is going to go out and hunt. The shark is going to continue to move, even though the environment it's in is toxic. And the more it moves around in that environment, the more it's going to get inside of its system, and it's going to grow sicker and sicker. I thought of this metaphor, this analogy, while I was working. And if I must say so myself, I'm a person who has more of an entrepreneurial spirit than is really required in normal situations. You go to a job, you complete tasks that are given to you and nothing more. Now, if you're a person who goes above and beyond, oftentimes that type of behavior gets exploited. That type of behavior starts to be expected, and people will pile more work on top of you than they probably should. And then what ends up happening, you crash one day. Or if you get especially stressed out, you crash out altogether in a different way. But it's key sometimes to sit still and evaluate the situation that you find yourself in, and not try and make yourself more busy in an environment that's not conducive to that type of behavior. Because what you're expecting to get out of being more busy, expending more effort, it's not necessarily what's going to come back to you. Oftentimes you'll expend more effort, more energy, and you'll just end up creating more work. And that's not the situation that you want to find yourself in in any circumstance. We all want to experience progress in whatever it is that we're doing. And us being busy and wanting to go out and conquer the world in a specific way that it requires us to do more doesn't work out the way we plan. So in life, make sure that you're not the shark in the cesspool, and make sure that any effort that you expend is being directed in a way that has maximum impact. It's like that quote that Abraham Lincoln, or the quote that people attribute to Abraham Lincoln. I haven't fact checked this myself, but if you had to chop down a tree and you were given 8 hours, according to Lincoln, your best course of action would be to spend 6 or 7 hours sharpening the axe and not hacking away at a tree trunk with a dull blade. I've been hacking away at tree trunks with dull blades my whole life because I had the energy to do so. Now, as an older person, I'm starting to realize just how precious my energy actually is, how finite my energy actually is. And I don't want to expend it on things that I could figure out a faster way to accomplish those things. I could use more leverage in life and not necessarily going back to my initial nature where I just tear through things like a bull in a china cabinet. It's time to think smarter and not think about working harder. Work smarter, not harder, as my father would always say. But yeah, oftentimes the nature that we're given in life is not the best course of action all the time and in every situation. We have to adjust our approach in order to achieve the results that we want. And that's what's great and uniquely human, is that we are able to do those types of things. A shark is a shark, regardless of where you put it. If the shark can survive and move in any kind of water, even if it's a cesspool, the shark is going to be the shark. Whereas us as humans, we can find ourselves in different environments. Some environments are good for us, some environments aren't. But when we find ourselves in any kind of environment, whether that's a family dynamic, whether that's a workplace, whether that's just a situation out on the streets, sometimes the best thing to do is to limit your energy expenditure, limit your movement. Be still for once until your brain can figure out a plan on how to leverage your way out of the situation, as opposed to you using your muscles to take on the situation physically, which expends way too much energy. I know a lot of you watching this video won't necessarily understand what I'm saying quite yet, but one day, hopefully soon, it'll all make sense. But on that note, I'm happy to get this video out, and I will see you in the next one. It's coming real soon.